This is a lesson designed to help you focus on writing introductions and conclusions when completing an essay. If you do not have your ideas ready, that means you have not read the volcano up to chapter 3, so that means it's Wednesday and you've read chapter 3, and you've taken some notes on a video that you've also watched. Please stop this video because you're not ready for this lesson. Let's think about the introduction. I always like to think of an introduction as the beginning of a play. I know I want to know something about the movie before I go, but I don't want to know too much because then I'll know too much. Your introduction is exactly that. It gives the audience a glimpse of what's coming, and it makes them want to sit down in their seat and get comfortable and be entertained. So to get started, there's some ways to start your essay, but I know that if you're watching this video, chances are you're not too sure exactly how to start. So when you're watching this, I want you to know that we are looking at the easy way. There's more than one interesting way to start an essay. We're going to do some basic phrases just to let our reader know what we're going to be writing about. So here are some basic first sentences to try. We all know. For example, we all know volcanoes look dangerous, especially when they have smoke coming out of them. Another one, have you ever wondered? Have you ever wondered why volcanoes erupt? That might be the way you start your essay. Did you realize? Did you realize that volcanoes are found all over the world? I always knew. I always knew volcanoes were dangerous. I just didn't know how dangerous until I learned about them. After reading Anatomy of a Volcano and watching a video, I have learned a ton about volcanoes. Some people believe that you can live near a volcano and you will be perfectly fine. All of those work. So what I'd like you to do is pause the video, pick one, and write it down. Okay, so you have your first sentence done. Your pencil's on the paper. You are making progress. Now we're ready to really focus in on the prompt. If you remember, your prompt is that you are an expert on volcanoes. So now you need to use these prompt words in your first paragraph. Volcanoes are the most amazing thing ever. I am now a volcano expert. And then here you could say, volcanoes are amazing. And then volcanoes are interesting to learn about. So all of these go back to these prompt words. So pause the video, pick one, write it down. Now, there are some things I want you to watch out for. When writing your introduction, these are some pitfalls some writers find themselves falling into. I will tell you all about volcanoes if you keep reading. Now you will read about volcanoes. My main ideas are, volcanoes are located all over the world, they are hard to see, and they erupt. Or even worse, this drives me crazy. Let's get started. All of these, oh my goodness, all you hear from your reader is snoring. Well, we've written our introduction. Now remember that this video is designed to write introductions and conclusions. You really don't have to have your middle mapped out yet in order to be able to write your conclusion. So let's take a look at basically what you want it to do for your audience. This is going to be right at the end of your paper, but you're thinking of that great movie, that wonderful movie moment where the curtain closes and the feeling of the audience is, oh, there's no place like home, like Wizard of Oz. Here's some pointers. You want to wrap it up. There's two sentences. One wraps it up, The other is the zinger. So in this one, you want to rephrase the sentence that you wrote with the prompt in it with the transition to start. Remember, we are volcano experts. That was our prompt. Oops. As you can see, I am now a volcano expert. I'm sure you realize volcanoes are super interesting. Without a shadow of a doubt, volcanoes are found all over the world and are beyond exciting. I am amazed by what volcanoes can do. Pick one, pause the video, write it down. And now this is what people have the hardest time with. You're thinking about the zinger. You want your audience to think about what you wrote, so you're going to summarize what you want them to remember. So you might start off with a sentence like this. So, always remember, when you see a volcano, it can be dangerous. Next time you travel to Hawaii, check to see when blank volcano might erupt. I hope you learned something new about volcanoes. The most important thing to remember is volcanoes are beautiful, but can be dangerous. Pick one, pause the video, write it down. Now, here are some things I want you to watch out for. In your conclusion, you should never say. And you know what? Before I read these, I need to explain because all of you aren't in my class. But I always think about a guy who finishes up his essay with one of these, and he looks a lot like this guy. And he talks like this. So he would start off with, "That's why I wrote about volcanoes." Or, "I have told you about volcanoes." Or, "I hope you enjoyed my essay." And the last one, "Now you've learned." Or even worse, "The end." Oh, don't be this guy. Okay, you're ready. Get going. All you got to do is answer the phone and finish that essay.